In the late 1800s, Florida became a tourist destination thanks to the railroad. And it was a great way to travel, especially if you owned your own private rail car like this one.
Hello, I'm David Carson, Public Affairs Director here at the Flagler Museum in Palm Beach, and we're standing in the Flagler Pavilion, built specifically to house and protect Henry Flagler's private railcar number 91.
Get ready to come aboard Henry Flagler's Railcar 91 and discover a very important part of South Florida history on today's SoFlo Home Project. Welcome to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra. We're here today at the Henry Morrison Flagler Museum. This was Mr. Flagler's winter home in Palm Beach, and behind me is Railcar 91, which was often considered Henry's palace on wheels. Built in 1886, Railcar 91 was one of 3 private railcars Henry Flagler owned. He used them to travel the country and survey his railroad empire. The Flagler Pavilion was built to preserve this historic artifact. David, welcome to SoFlo Home Project.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me on.
So it is great to be here today. We are at the Flagler Museum in Palm Beach. Such a treat for our viewers and for myself to see this beautiful, beautiful space.
It is. It's a treat. I think our visitors really enjoy the place.
The Flagler Museum is a special place. This was his winter home.
That's correct. Henry Flagler built Whitehall in 1902. It was actually a gift to his new bride at the time. And then the Flagler Pavilion that we're standing in was actually added in 2005, specifically to house and protect Railcar 91 here. It's actually the oldest piece we have here at the Flagler Museum. Railcar 91 was built in 1886 by the Jackson & Sharp Company in Delaware. Railcar 91 here, it's 56 feet, 10 inches long, has an observation room, a private bedroom, running water with a toilet and shower, 8 berths for sleeping for guests, and a kitchen. So they were pretty well self-sufficient once they were on the rails in Railcar 91.
We have beautiful views, not only outside the window, of course, of the water, but just all of the architectural details here in the pavilion as well. So this was built to kind of mimic something that was in older times.
Yes, really the pavilion here was built to emulate a railway palace of the 19th century, with the idea being that it looks like Railcar 91 is just pulled into the station.
It's such an unexpected surprise when you walk in. When I first saw this, I'm like, wow, what an amazing space. So Railcar number 91, was that his personal rail car?
That's correct. Back in Henry Flagler's day, this was the pinnacle of luxury travel. And for example, today, if you're a wealthy businessman, you might have a private jet. Back in Henry Flagler's era, you had your own personal rail car, as we have here in Railcar 91.
Wow, so that was traveling in style in those times, and he had one. Did he have more than one?
He did. In fact, at one point he had at least 3 private rail cars, and they might travel in tandem or in convoy. This rail car was one of the very first trains to arrive in Key West in January the 22nd, 1912,
wow.
After Henry Flagler had completed construction of the Oversea Railroad. I think he had 10,000 people come out to visit him as he arrived. He changed their lives. So Florida really was the last wild frontier here in America, and the development of the state really followed Henry Flagler's Florida East Coast Railway. As he extended that down the east coast of the state, the development really followed the railway line and really led to the development of the state that we know today. For 20 years before this building was completed, the rail car sat outside on the lawn here and was taking a beating from the elements, of course.
And now it has a place of beauty right here, a place of prominence as well.
It certainly does, yes.
It is, and all this natural light in here. I mean, this, once you walk in, you feel like you're transported to another time, and that's exactly what it's meant to do, right?
Yes, exactly.
And David, speaking of being transported, I want to check out the interior of the rail car. Could we go see that?
Yes, let's take a look.
All right, we're going to bring you all with us when we come back. Coming up, we leave the station to begin our tour of Railcar 91 on SoFlo Home Project. Could you dress up your home with a $500 Goya Seasonings Greetings gift card? Sounds like fun, doesn't it? Just go to local10.com to register. The Goya Seasonings Greetings winner will be chosen January 3rd, 2024, so enter today. Go to local10.com for your chance to win Goya Seasonings Greetings $500 gift card giveaway. Because if it's Goya, it has to be good. Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra, and we are here at the Flagler Museum in Palm Beach with David Carson, Public Affairs Director here at the museum. So David, this has been so great to finally now get a peek inside of Henry Flagler's personal railcar.
As you said, a palace on wheels.
In the 1800s, the fastest way to travel was by train. Owning a private railcar was a luxury which would be equivalent to owning a private jet in this day and age. David, as I imagine someone is coming aboard, they're boarding this way. This is the greeting space.
Yes, this was the living room, the observation room. So guests would have been greeted right here.
So were there other uses for this particular space? It looks like something that could possibly convert into a dual purpose room on wheels.
Yes, you're right. It was the sitting room and also, of course, Henry Flagler's office, as you can see with the little fold-down desk here. So multifunctional room right here.
So they were even doing it back then.
They
Multifunctional spaces we thought was a newer thing. Since the late 1800s, we were designing like that, which is great. I'm thinking about, from an interior design standpoint, the window treatments have beautiful accents. I mean, the hardware, the carvings, the moldings. I mean, so much thought and detail went into this beautiful palace on wheels, as we say.
Yes, yes, the interior was actually designed by the famous New York interior design company, Pottier and Steinmetz. And we have the original work orders and receipts that confirm the details that we see in the car today.
Now the ceiling is quite high. I'm looking not only at the detail, the moldings, the beautiful light fixtures. I mean, again, design details were so elevated in here. Is this a normal height for it to have?
I believe this is normal height for rail cars. In fact, this rail car, number 91, was actually the smallest of Henry Flagler's private rail cars at just 56 feet 10 inches long. And built into the upper levels here is the ventilation system, which is really open the windows.
Wow, and not just plain windows. I mean, there's beveled glass, there's details. The hardware that opens them and locks them is also so detailed.
It certainly is. No expense spared in this room.
Definitely not. But when you look at this specific rail car, I mean, it's a reflection of, I think, his home away from home.
I agree. Yes, I do. As we said earlier, a palace on wheels.
I mean, it is such a work of art, and I can't wait to talk about the other areas because it's not just this. But before we do, let's check in with the team from USA Windows and Doors and see what great advice they have for us today.
Hi, this is John with USA Windows and Doors.
And I'm Mike, Vice President of Sales.
And Mike, tell us today why most people don't have impact windows.
Well, John, the truth of the matter is most people don't think they can afford it. With our financing options, anybody can afford to have this product in their home. First of all, we're going to save you money on your cooling bills. We're going to save you money on your homeowner's insurance. And you take those savings and put that toward the price of your windows, it almost pays for itself.
And not to mention, it's also increased the property value. Is that right?
That is absolutely true. Most real estate professionals will tell you that this increases the value of your home, making it more marketable and easier for you to sell.
What are the other benefits of these impact windows?
Well, John, the true benefits of having impact windows and doors in your home is, number one, safety for your family. It's the hurricane protection, not just from the storm, but flying debris. Number two, break-in protection for your family. Number three, energy savings. There's a lot of heat that transfers in from the outside to the inside. With the low-E energy efficient glass, you're reflecting that heat away from the home, again, saving the homeowner money on their cooling bill. And lastly, take advantage of, here in the state of Florida, no sales tax on windows and doors.
And this can add up to huge savings.
Exactly, John, and to my point, anybody can afford hurricane impact windows and doors.
Oh, I think the home looks fabulous now. I think that the impact windows made a big difference. It quieted the house down a lot from the outside noise. I think our air conditioning system is running a lot more efficient now with the impact windows. And my wife and I are very happy with the look, and we're very happy with the end result.
If you're ready to upgrade your windows, call USA Windows and Doors today.
Or visit our website at usawindowsanddoors.com. Don't forget, anyone can afford hurricane windows and doors.
Wow, so David, this is Henry's sleeping quarters.
That's correct, Henry Flagler's bedroom.
And quite spacious. Again, we talked about this high ceiling in the rail cars, and you have, again, ceiling detail, beautiful moldings and light fixtures. I mean, paneled walls, the draperies continue. A very elegant bedroom for a rail car. I'm seeing a call button over here. So was there an intercom system throughout? Or
It's a
something
call
like
button,
that?
Yes, there's a button in each and every room, and they all ring back in the kitchen area, which we'll show you shortly. And that was to call household servants.
And then, of course, this is quite a large sleeping area. And
is.
really very spacious for a rail car.
Considering it's such a relatively small rail car, yes.
Another observation as I look at everything in here, David, is not only is a lot of the design details stuff that we still see in traditional and even transitional design to this day, from the draperies and the wood paneling, and the bathroom, the vanity has inset cabinetry doors and drawers and the latch hardware. I mean, so many of these things are things that are still so relevant. It's nice to see them in this state at this era of design.
As you say, they really made the best of relatively small space.
Yes, this is true maximizing small space design right here.
Yes.
And elegantly as well.
Yes.
So we've got more to see. There's some more sleeping quarters just right down the way, right?
Yes, let's take a walk through.
All right, we're going to stay on track with our tour here and join us when we come back for more of this rail car tour. Coming up next, we find out what it would be like to travel as Flagler's railcar guests on SoFlo Home Project.
SoFlo Home Project is sponsored in part by Eldorado Furniture. Looking to refresh your home? Visit us online at eldoradofurniture.com or a showroom near you.
Did you know that a flood in your home can lead to contaminated air? I'm Hunter Franke, host of SoFlo Health in today for SoFlo Home Project, and fortunately, we have the solution for you. So follow me. This is Juan of Ace Restoration Services, and we're somewhere in Kendall today where this house looks like it had some damage. So tell me, what are we here to talk about today?
Yes, actually we're here to talk about duct cleaning, air duct cleaning. But the reason why we're doing duct cleaning is because they had a pipe break in this home inside the wall.
Right.
And of course, in order to remediate it, we had to cut walls,
right,
which in turn creates dust, and there's contaminants in the air, which then we have to do air duct cleaning in order to mitigate properly. So here, the pipe was leaking, and it was a minimal leak. He had water coming out of his tiles. We cut the walls. We did what's called flood cuts.
Right.
And at the time of flood cuts, then we realized that the pipe was here.
And this tiny pipe is what created all this damage all the way along here.
Absolutely. I believe it was a couple days of it slowly leaking, and then of course it caused all the saturation throughout the bottom part of the home.
Juan, this looks like one big bad piece of equipment. What is it and what does it do?
Yes, so this is our HEPA air duct cleaner.
Juan, in a case like this where you had to cut into the drywall, how does that affect the air?
So what we did here when we cut the drywall, that we did flood cuts,
right,
there was also insulation, there's dust, all that goes airborne.
Right.
And then of course, your return from your AC picks all that up and throws it through your duct system.
Right.
Well, this bad boy right here, our HEPA machine, helps us capture all that spore that's in the ducts from mold, dust,
right,
and it kind of captures it, spits it out clean.
Right, so that way you have clean air circulating in your home, not dirty air or dusty air or moldy air.
Absolutely. Like I said, who doesn't want clean air in their home?
And what is the benefit to the homeowner for scrubbing the air ducts?
Yes, this particular homeowner, he had called me because he had to keep taking Claritin, something he doesn't do on a daily basis. And due to the dust and the mold spores in the air, I told him him that, you know, he's a good candidate for air duct cleaning, and that would probably help him out with his allergies. So we came, we cleaned his ducts, and hopefully, you know, that'll help him out. I believe it will.
Juan, who is a good candidate for air duct cleaning?
Well, air duct cleaning is very healthy for your home.
Yes.
Because you want clean air. But everybody should get their ducts cleaned about once every 6 months.
Okay.
If you have pets that live in your home because they shed hair, you should do it approximately about 3 to 4 months.
Right, so it's important if you had an issue in your home, but even if you haven't had an issue in your home recently, it's still a good idea to have your ducts cleaned.
Absolutely, it's never a bad idea to clean your air in your home.
Juan, thank you so much for your time and sharing such great information with us. If you at home are thinking about getting your air ducts cleaned, Juan, how can they get a hold of you?
They can call our office at 786-732-2779, or they can reach us at the web at ace2restore.com.
Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra, and we are keeping on track with our tour of Henry Flagler's Railcar number 91 here at the Flagler Museum in Palm Beach with David Carson, Public Affairs Director at the Flagler Museum. So, David, before the break, we saw Henry's own personal sleeping quarters in the Railcar, which were quite spacious, very beautiful, lots of storage. I mean, all the design details were thought out there. And now this looks like a really large area for guests to be able to sleep in. The multifunctional guest compartment of Railcar 91 is equipped to comfortably host 8 guests per trip.
We have bunk beds into the walls, and this is also the dining area with the dining chairs folding out into single beds as well.
And again, the high ceilings of the Railcar make this room able to accommodate a bunk like this.
Yes.
So can we see how one of these work?
Yes, let me show you how that works. If I step
let you
over here.
get on over there and look at that. Wow. Very cool. And again, all the details looks like that's for storage up top here.
Right.
Quite sturdy. And again, these have been here for a very long time.
Yes,
Still
original
so solid construction.
Yes, 1886.
Wow. So the earliest bunk beds that we're seeing right here. And it actually looks quite, again, spacious. I keep saying spacious, but if you think of a rail car, you think of everything being like a tiny home, really small. But this is quite a large size bed.
Yes, I think they utilize the space very well.
So this being the main dining area, I can imagine more seating being brought in or tables if need be.
Yes, I can envision wicker seating as you saw in the living area, perhaps a chair here and here. And of course, Henry Flagler also traveled up and down the east coast of the country, all the way up to New York and back again.
Wow, so that's really cool to think what a great piece of history that we are standing in right here.
It is, isn't it?
Yes, it's not only beautiful, but it holds probably many stories and many journeys at the times.
If these rail walls could talk.
Right? We'd love to hear the stories they could tell. Well, this is a great view into seeing kind of how they would have traveled back then in luxury.
It is the pinnacle of luxury travel in the Gilded Age.
Next, we stay on track by exploring this private railcar's amenities on SoFlo Home Project. Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra, and we are continuing right along with our tour of Railcar 91 here at the Flagler Museum with David Carson, Public Affairs Director. So David, before the break, we checked out what's right behind you, which was the guest sleeping quarters, but there was also a dining room on the other side.
That's right.
And now we are in the place where all of the meals were prepared here on this rail car.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, Henry Flagler had a chef traveling on the train with him here. We've got a stove right here in front of you and a built-in ice bucket right behind you.
Look at this.
Cutting board work surface. It's a little tight space, but obviously they were able to function and produce high-standard meals for the traveling guests.
That's actually a really big prep space and a lot of storage underneath.
Yes, yes, plenty of space to work with, I think. And an interesting element in the Railcar here is that we have these oval stained glass windows in the
behind.
kitchen.
Yeah.
And they're a very identifying factor in photographs of the Railcar. It really stands out and identifies Railcar 91 as being in certain historic photographs that we have.
Now I'm seeing that looks like where all the call buttons lead to.
That is correct. We're in the kitchen, as you pointed out earlier. All the call buttons end up right here, and so that the household staff would respond to those calls.
Very cool. Now, right outside, we're at the end of the Railcar here.
Yes, there's just a small balcony at each end of the Railcar here, perhaps an observation platform. Let me take you to show
Great,
you
I'd
that.
love to see that.
Right this
Check
way.
it out. Ah, this is the best part. I feel like we should be waving to people from the back here, right?
Yes.
This is so cool.
Yes, well, this might have been the observation platform, and I know for disembarking or embarking, these rails at the side would open, and there's a platform that raises up, and there's stairs underneath, so they disembark to the right or left side here.
But even the decorative elements here, on
Yes.
all of the railings and the doorway, just so well done.
Yes, this
So
is all
beautiful.
nickel plated right here.
Well, David, this has been so much fun. I loved learning a little bit more about the history of Henry Flagler's Railcar, and this has been so cool and such a treat. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you could come along and share this information with your viewers.
Oh, it's been great. Let's wave goodbye to our guest from the balcony. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
So I hope that you enjoyed our historical portion of a little SoFlo history, and now we are going to get back on track for interior design of the home next week. So check out what we've got. We deck the halls with a winter wonderland. Get inspired to add a little magic to your holiday decor as we peel back the layers of this amazing Christmas village. So I want to thank you all for joining us this week, and hope to see you again next week for another all-new episode of SoFlo Home Project right here on Local 10. And remember, there's no place like SoFlo Home. If you missed any part of this episode, or if you're looking for more design inspiration, make sure to check out all episodes online at SoFloShows.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media on Facebook and Instagram.